question: do you have to have a turkey for Thanksgiving? Back in a minute. Hey, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Today, I've got Jan from New York City Saves Money here with me. I'm going to bring her in. Hey, Jan.
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody.
So today, you and we're going to discuss for Thanksgiving, do you necessarily have to have a turkey, as your main meal or main meat for Thanksgiving? Actually, believe it or not, you actually do not have to. There are some alternatives that you could choose from or pick from to, it also goes by, affordability if your finances will allow you. Because do keep in mind, Thanksgiving is on the 23rd, so we are, as you would say, we are approaching the bare bone type of time of the month.
Yes. Yes, Steve. Yes. I like your question, Steve. I think it is a relevant question. And I just want to mention this. Not everyone likes turkey. Now, don't get me wrong. I love turkey. But that doesn't mean the whole world and everybody in America likes to eat turkey. Some do not like it. And what that means to me is it's perfectly okay to have a swap out. Steve, you pointed out a really good point. Thanksgiving is always the last Thursday of November. And for many people, that is the bare bones time of the month. So swapping out turkey, let's say for a great price on chicken, which is why it's so important, like in your earlier times of the month, to stockpile on best prices on certain things, not because of Thanksgiving, but because it's just a smart thing to do all year long. But this time of the year, actually, Steve, we can get better bargains at the grocery store. So we just, have to look into it. Did you always eat turkey every single Thanksgiving, Steve? I'm curious.
Coming up when I was growing up, yes, I did. I mean, there were a couple of it. They weren't that many. I did have pork, I think, on maybe a couple of occasions. I know my mom she would eat pork, but she was not the biggest fan of it. But a majority of the time, yes, it was turkey. And the thing of it is, I myself, to be honest with you, I would not mind. I've never done it, but I would love to try it because the sky's the limit, but you also go by your affordability. I've always wanted to do a nice pot roast for Thanksgiving. Here's another.
I love that idea. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's not. If you're worried about having turkey and you're worried about an overabundance, or you're worried about having too much turkey, I think you said just recently you made a purchase on a oval, round-looking Butterball makes them. It's nothing but breast.
Yes, because I have two Thanksgivings, so that's why. But go ahead.
Well, I've bought those. I've had them in the family, Dad. You could take that and do it up like you would a pot roast. You can put your carrots, your potatoes, whatever fixings you want in there, and you can do it in a slow cooker. Put it on for a few. Boom.
Yes.
There's your Thanksgiving meal right there.
Right. Thanksgiving meal doesn't have to equivocate to some like slavery thing for yourself. Just don't enslave yourself with so many extra tasks, because then you don't really get the fun of hanging out with your company, the people that you want to be thankful with. Am I right? I like what you said, and you're really right about the slow cooker. That's another instance where slow cooker comes in handy. And as far as I'm concerned about pot roast, a good quality pot roast, I am A-OK with a
Yeah.
good pot roast. Hello. That's a
Well,
great idea, Steve.
I mean, if you want to go the traditional meat roast route that we all know, I've always had good success with a chuck roast. I've always had
Yes.
those. Um, can you go a standing rib roast or any other? Yeah, you could go higher per pound. Is it necessary? No, because for some reason, chuck roast, when it's done up and you let it cook slowly, you know, through time, or through the hours,
Let it braise. Yes.
yeah, braise. That's it. Um, to me, turns out every bit as good as a standing rib. It's a lot less per pound too. Not that I don't like a good rib. Believe me, I do.
I think
But in
for the purpose of a pot roast, the chuck roast is your best bet,
it is the
actually,
better.
Steve.
It's the more, yeah.
So it's like the
Um,
better cut for that. Yeah.
I mean, you do have London broil. I know about that one. That one's okay. My mom used to like to do the London broils from time to time.
And you would slice it up nicely, I'm sure, right, right.
Yeah. Um,
And to me, as much as I enjoy turkey, for me also, I do enjoy the sides. I am always there for the cranberry sauce, the
yeah.
stuffing, the sweet potatoes. I am in my heaven. I personally don't make macaroni and cheese on Thanksgiving. I never really did that, but I hear a lot of people do that.
They
And a lot
do.
of people do that, right? And a lot of people do that, that green bean casserole with the French
Casseroles.
onions. Right. These are like interesting traditions. But who's to stop someone, Steve, from having their own tradition?
You can.
Yeah. Like some people, they rather have cheesecake as opposed to pumpkin pie. Now, I saw something very interesting. Yeah, right? What were you going to say?
No, you just what the reason why I did that facial remark and my finger went up is a lot of people don't realize if you're trying, you want to have your dessert, and I can tell you right now, trying to lose weight during the holidays, if you're trying to maintain your weight during the holidays, birthday, like in my case, my birthday falls on Halloween. 3 weeks later, you got Thanksgiving, and then you got Christmas. I've come to learn, do not go on a diet or try to lose weight during that period because
That's what January's for.
exactly. But no, coming back to the cheesecake, one thing about a cheesecake that I've come to know, and I think you and I talked about this in the past, cheesecake, if I'm not mistaken, is low carb.
It is. It's low carb, and a person can make it as sweet or as less
Less,
sweet as they want.
yeah.
Like the Atkins version of a cheesecake, Steve, is basically folding in real whipped cream with real cream cheese, and then using like Splenda and maybe some vanilla extract. Voila, you're done. It comes out like a mousse, like a cheesecake mousse. It's quite delicious. And for
Mm,
those that can have sugar, then all you do is swap it out. Put a little bit of sugar. It doesn't have to be a ton, and you
yeah.
don't have to spend $20 on a cheesecake when you could
Oh, I,
easily. No, I know.
well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was in Walmart the other day. I had bought a couple of frozen pizzas. I had gotten a Freschetta, which I enjoyed very much, and I also got
Yes.
another of the Jacks that we talked about, previous. I
Yes.
looked down, I'm looking at Cheesecake Factory, a cheesecake, 17.98. I said, "Are you serious? Are you?"
I
Because
mean, we're not saying it's
I,
not delicious. We're sure it is, but that's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money. Why do that? Cream cheese won't run you that much. Whipped cream or whatever, the real cream that you're talking, not all that much.
Yes.
Um,
No. And actually, cream cheese, Steve, goes on sale usually in November near the holidays. So that's the time you may want to consider stockpiling a few for the freezer. And it will last in the freezer for 6 months.
okay. Well, that way, if you ever wanted to do cheesecake for a Christmas dessert, you've got it.
Correct again, Steve, because before you know it, once Thanksgiving comes, the next day is Black Friday. And then before you know it, it's Christmas.
Christmas, I know. like in my case, like I said, my birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, it's a domino effect. Boom, boom, boom. I
Tell me
mean,
about it. And I'm in the middle of it with my birthday on the 5th of December, which
December.
is smack dab in the height of the holiday season. Like, ay.
Yeah, yeah.
Steve, there is a cheesecake. I don't know if you've ever tried it before. And it's made by the Jello Instant Company. They have a box where you have the whole kit in it to make the little cheesecake. It
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. The no bake. The no bake.
the no bake. You don't even have to be a baker. You can
No,
put that together. It's very inexpensive. Many times they go on sale for $2 something or $3.
right.
And you could put your crushed pineapple, drain it, put it on the top. That's quite good like that.
Yeah, crushed pineapple on cheesecake is good. I've had it. Oh, for some reason, that pineapple cheesecake, that I don't know,
It just matches.
they marry somehow, but it works.
Yes, yes. So these are alternatives. We don't have to break the bank. Steve, as you know, I celebrate two Thanksgivings, one with like half of my family in one place and the other half of my family in another place, but it's basically like a two-time thing so that we don't miss a beat. So what I did this year, Steve, I bought one of those boneless, the boneless breast turkey. I
That's
got
what I
that.
was. That's what I
And
was
I
talking
got an
about.
oven stuffer roaster for those who don't care for turkey. So
Right.
I'll be like literally like doing both.
Hmm.
And one of my side dishes, instead of knocking my brains out, is going to be ravioli with my homemade Italian meatballs, and just a couple of appetizers. You know what I mean? Like the simple stuff, like
Hmm.
the olives, the celery, antipasto type appetizer.
Right. Like I was
Keep it
saying,
simple.
Thanksgiving, we all know it as a turkey, and some like to have ham. We know that. But
Right, ham. Good choice, Steve.
do you have to have those particular? No, you don't, because most people forget. Way back, I've heard some horror stories. Certain people don't like to celebrate the day, and that's perfectly fine. But whatever floats your boat, I guess. But
Yeah,
you, the original Thanksgiving meal back when the Pilgrims came was actually fish. So think about
yes,
that for a minute.
that's right.
So what I'm trying to figure out is how did we go from fish to poultry? I'm a little bit up in the air about that one.
I have no clue.
Yeah,
But you want to know the main thing, Steve? It's about gathering with loved ones. It could be if you're in a family of one, your significant other. It could be a bunch of people. It could
right.
be whatever way you do it, and not to like put yourself in a cookie cutter situation. It's just because you watch these Hallmark pictures and you think it has to be just like that. No, everybody's family is different. Everybody's income is different.
Yeah.
And by the way, isn't the most important thing that we do is like be appreciative and thankful? Isn't that the whole purpose of that day?
Yes, it
Showing
is.
appreciation. Right. So when we lose sight of that and it's just like focusing on a meal, then something got lost in the translation, in my opinion.
It did. It did. I just know people that you know you don't always have to focus on a turkey, the ham. You can go the pot roast route.
Yes.
The
I want
turkey,
that. Maybe next year I'll do that.
well, the roast, the butterball turkey, that breast thing that you just spoke of, that was what I was referring to earlier.
Yes.
And but butterball is not. They've got the regular butterball turkeys. They've got the smaller butterball, like 11-pound for smaller
Yes.
families. If you want just the breast, like the boneless, you have that one. If you don't
Yes.
want that one, they have another one that's got the bone, the breastbone in it. So they
Yes.
have
That's
different.
good. I've had that too.
Right. So you've got different alternatives. If you want to go the turkey route, oh, but that's so much turkey. There's going to be a lot of leftover. Well, you don't have to do that. Go the route that you went, like what I was talking about. Do it up in a pot roast. And not only that, if you do it in a pot, in a slow cooker, I meant to say, like a pot roast style, the only cleanup you have is that porcelain thing that you cooked it in. That's it.
Right. And if you get one of those slow cooker bags that some people like to use, they just take the bag out and they're
Take the
done,
bag
you
out.
know.
Hmm.
I personally have never worked with the bag. Maybe one day I would, but I have never. You know,
Yeah.
Steve, I want to mention something to people that have a very small kitchen area, or maybe they live in a van or, RV, whatever. There's a trick that I do, and I've mentioned this on past shows. I like to have my open faced turkey any time of the year because
Oh,
to me,
sure.
I love the sides. What I could do is just go simply to get good quality sliced turkey at the deli from Boar's Head. I specified Boar's Head, okay? Because I had a family member that worked, as a charcuterie person, and that person always highly recommends anything Boar's Head if you could get it in your area. Get that sliced. Yes, it's a little money, but it's already cooked. You don't have to worry about cooking because it's cooked. All you have to do is heat it up in some either turkey gravy. You could buy that already done up inexpensively in a can or make it with the powder. Or like my mom taught me, she liked to contrast it with beef gravy from, the powdery one or the can, whatever, and just heat up canned yams. Open up the cranberry sauce. Make the stovetop the stuffing. A
Right.
person, even with a teensy weensy kitchen, you toast up good quality. I do believe a good quality artisan bread when you make an open faced turkey. Like that Nature's Own, Steve, that artisan
That's a
one.
good one.
If you lightly toast that and put that turkey over it, that you heat it up easily with the gravy, you got yourself a little miniature version of Thanksgiving any time of the year. By the way, Steve, those Idahoan mashed potatoes in a pouch are
Ouch.
amazing.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever tried them, but they're
I
quite
did.
good.
I
Don't
have.
even have to add butter.
You had mentioned Nature's Own. Well, I have a loaf of Nature's Own handcrafted thick
Oh,
bread.
yes, it's very, very good.
This is a
Is it
good.
thickly sliced, Steve?
Yeah, it's a little bit on the thick side.
That's the one you want for an open faced turkey sandwich. Yes.
Right. It's not quite the thickness of Texas toast, although I like Texas toast. That's the thicker, like what you use for a patty melt. But
You go to the diner and order the dinner. I just described the open faced turkey with that kind of bread. We're talking at least $12 to $14 for that. You
I
could
was
do
about
it.
to say 12. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you could serve a few people. Honestly.
That's like whenever I go to an Italian restaurant, yes, I've got Sicilian heritage in me. Yes, I know how to make spaghetti sauce from scratch, meatballs or spaghetti with meat sauce I know the whole. When I look down in an Italian restaurant and they want $14.95 for a plate of spaghetti and meatballs, I laugh. I
I
laugh.
laugh. I laugh too. I wouldn't pay for that. If I'm going to make spaghetti, I'll make it at home on the cheap.
Yeah, no. I believe you, I could make it for a lot less than $15 for one. And two, I usually make leftovers, and then I have been known, this is a subject all different in a different video altogether, but I have been known to take spaghetti sauce and repurpose it and turn it into a chili. I've done it.
I bet that's a really good base sauce before you begin your chili. That has to be
It
amazing.
is. Yeah, because what is really different between a spaghetti sauce, say a marinara, and chili? You got to add your beans, you got to add your chili powder, maybe a little bit of spices,
Right.
and you're pretty much done. I think that's pretty
Right.
much it. So, I mean, for the most part, your work's already done for you. You just add a couple of three and you just go with it. But it turns out pretty good. It's not bad.
And when I do my ravioli, I take shredded, good quality. I rather shred a block of better quality mozzarella than the one in the bag. I rather shred it myself. It just tastes better. Put it on there and just bake that all together. Instead, like this is when I'm doing too many other little meals, as opposed to like now maybe Christmas I might do a lasagna like you would do.
I
And
used to
here
do the lasagna.
you
Yeah.
make a killer lasagna from what I heard.
Well, I haven't made a lasagna in quite some time. I used to always make lasagna during the Christmas holiday, and I'll tell you why. My nephew, my oldest nephew, every year, this was back when he was about 12, 13, 14, 11. I used to always make a pan of lasagna when I knew he was coming because he loved my lasagna. It wasn't
Bingo.
overkill. It had everything was just right. So now, you know, I would like to recreate that again. Maybe one day, maybe one day, have the ability to do so again. But I do make a good lasagna. I like to use like Belgioso cheese, that real
Yeah,
good.
that's good quality. I like that too.
I will put that right in the middle of it. As I'm layering it right in the middle,
Yeah,
I'll put that to give it
yeah.
that stringy effect. And then, of course, I'll use like Italian blend Kraft shredded cheese. I do that. Parmesan, mozzarella. I usually use about three, maybe four cheeses. I try not to go too overboard with it. Perfect.
There you go. You know, you
Now,
also do. Here's an alternative dessert that Steve makes. Those chocolate chip cookies. Those
an
oatmeal
alternative.
raisin. I'm sorry,
Oh
oatmeal
yeah, yeah,
raisin.
yeah, yeah. Yes, the oatmeal raisin cookie. That particular recipe can be found online. Just look up Vanishing Oatmeal Cookies. It's from the Quaker Oat oatmeal container. Sometimes you may still find it underneath the lid. Every time I've made it, they don't last. They're gone, just like that. You can put
And you can
raisins
pack
in
them
it.
in the container to travel. You can actually stack
Right.
them up.
If you could do oatmeal raisin, you can put chocolate chip. You can leave the raisins out. You can put walnuts in it. I've done it about six different ways. You can use whatever you want to put in the cookie batter. It's your choice. Because some people, oh, I don't like raisins. I understand that. So you could leave the raisin out, make an oatmeal cookie, put some chocolate chip, white chocolate chip. I've done Heath. I've just done it. I've done
All the
pecan.
good stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, this is a great alternative to pie. The whole world doesn't necessarily want pie or have to have pie.
no,
And oh, Steve, can I tell you what I did with the pie this year?
what'd you
I
do?
have had trouble finding my favorite frozen pie is Mrs. Smith. Okay. Now
Oh,
I've had Marie Callender's frozen pie. I like Mrs. Smith a little better. Everybody's taste is different, but I've been having difficulty in my area finding Mrs. Smith. So I
uh,
said, you know what? You went to the fresh baker, like the bakery section in the market. I already bought my pie already cooked, but I froze it. It's already all I have to do is thaw it out. I don't have to go crazy making a pie from scratch. And I got a good deal on it. It was $9. Okay. Nine
okay.
dollars for it's a large pie. But here's what I did though, okay, because the two Thanksgivings and I am frugal. I put a line in it. I cut it already in the pie plate. I already cut it in half. And I froze the other half for the second Thanksgiving because not everybody that I know eats pumpkin pie anyway. So in my case,
No,
I know that I don't have to have so many pumpkin pies in my case.
no. A lot of people who may not like pumpkin pie will decide, hey, I'd rather have a sweet potato pie. But here's the thing about the sweet potato pie and the pumpkin pie. When you make them, you use the same exact spices because they taste, except for texture and a little bit of
It's
slight
a very
difference.
minor difference, very minor.
Right. They're pretty close. I mean, I can go either way. I'm not specific on
I
pumpkin.
put it by accident one day and I said, this tastes a little different. What's wrong with this pumpkin? I said, oh, it's not pumpkin, it's sweet potato. But I had no problem with it. It was good.
Mm-mm. No, and sometimes, you know what? You have all again, you've got Thanksgiving meal dessert alternatives. Do you necessarily got to have an apple pie? If you do, make sure it's a Dutch apple, please. I like the
That's
crunchy.
my favorite too, Dutch. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
if you want to make it a cherry pie, I'm good with that. I'm
I know you.
actually very surprised. I hate to sound a little bit in tangents here, but I'm actually surprised that you're not able to locate Mrs. Smith's.
Mrs. Smith, well, yeah, those couple of places that I get from are outstocked. Even on, without mentioning that market's name that's close to me,
Right.
stocked, outstocked. I personally checked it, outstocked. So yeah, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's a supply issue, whatever. In my case, in this area, but I'm okay. I already purchased, from the fresh bakery. It's already sitting in my freezer. This is why, Steve, I'm not an 11th hour person. I like to
No.
do things ahead of time. That's me.
No, because I can go over here to Publix. Mrs. Smith's is in stock. They've got apple, cherry. Oh,
Yes.
I wanted to share with you, and I
Yes.
want to share with the subscribers as well. Um, Marie Callender, which is another good brand,
Hmm.
and Mrs. Smith's pecan pie.
Oh, that's amazing. I've had that in the past.
Well, I happened to look at it. You don't have to bake it. You can actually take it out of the box, let it thaw out,
You
and the
thawed
pie is
out.
ready to. You can eat it without cooking it.
You don't have to bake a pecan pie anymore. It is done up. It's like a praline sauce in the middle. But I could
Yeah,
tell you one thing, Steve. Have you ever had it? Just a little dab will do you. Don't decide to cut a humongous piece. You will no way finish that piece. If you
really.
do, well, I
Okay.
take my hat off to you because it is so rich. A little dab will do you. It's so rich.
I love how you're using a Brill Cream slogan to describe a pecan
A
pie.
little dab will do you.
I just now noticed that. Yeah.
That's because I'm a baby boomer. What do you want?
Well, I'm a Gen X, but I know, but I know a lot of baby boomer and silent gen. Well, my parents were the silent generation, so
Yeah.
plus that I also consider myself an old soul as well. But um, I when you're giving me an idea though, because like I said,
Uh-oh.
I know that I've got plans already set up for Thanksgiving, but that doesn't mean I can't go out and buy something a little extra, say for a couple
Thanksgiving
of three
shouldn't be
days.
confined to the one day, Steve. It's like the season, because
Yeah.
give yourself permission about that. This is what I just wanted to say. You know, this is a time of the year where you get really some decent sales. So I said, I don't buy a lot of box cake mix only around this time of the year. I'll buy four for the entire year. So this time when I purchased something, I never tried it before. Well, I have had the spice cake one, outrageous, very, very
Mm,
good. Then there
mm.
was a butter pecan one, which sounds,
Oh,
I
oh,
know, right? I know. So I put that away. And the standard one yellow, standard, I like to put away. And of course, a chocolate for, those that love, chocolate cake.
well,
So
the
that's
reason
all I
why,
need to hear.
yeah, but the reason why I wanted to mention about butter pecan
Sure.
is sometimes in an ice cream, because he comes in, because you can get that in an ice cream too.
So good.
Um, oh, and that's another alternative for dessert. If you don't want the pies, you don't want the cake, you don't want the good old reliable ice cream. You can't go wrong there
Yes.
either.
Yes. Not to mention Steve's banana pudding. Hello.
I've only done that for the holidays a couple of times,
Mm.
but you know what? I've come to find out you don't have to bake it.
No,
You don't have to bake it. No.
no.
Um, you just go through the steps of if you want to make your own homemade custard
Yeah.
and all that, you go through the steps. But when you put it together, just take it, put it in the refrigerator for a few hours until it cools, and you're
Oh,
good to go.
yeah. How about that orange dream salad that's in one of your videos? TDF to die for.
It is, especially if you're a citrus person. If you like citrus, because I do
And
like
after a heavy
lemon.
meal, bright citrus,
Yeah,
nice.
it's kind of like an ambrosia salad, but
Yes.
it's done up specifically orange. So
Yes.
yeah, that's another good one, and I have that video on my in my past lineup. So if you ever want to, and I think a couple of three of the subscribers have actually attempted it. That I think another subscriber, they didn't make my banana pudding, but they made my custard and they enjoyed it. And as an after dinner
Nice.
dessert, yeah, and they said they enjoyed it. So yeah, you can go pudding for a dessert.
Everything. Yes.
There really is no set. You got to have this. You got to have
No.
that. You got no. You do
Everything
what
we mention is not a confinement. It's not. It's flexible,
it is.
and you make it your own. Why does it have to be cookie cutter like everybody else?
It
No,
doesn't.
no.
It doesn't.
And you don't
I
have to break the bank.
no. I know this about me. I don't always want to be cookie cutter. I don't mind being a couple of notches off. I have no problem with that.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Jan, I'm glad that we had a chance to get, this message out there to some of the people, because if
Yes.
anybody out there, oh my gosh, I don't get paid until blah, blah, blah. What am I going to do for Thanksgiving? Uh, don't panic. You
No.
can work around it. Like I said, there are ways to have your Thanksgiving on a budget and it still be a great holiday season. So don't let your finances get in the way, because if just use a little imagination.
Steve,
um
I could go over it with you in 1 second. A person could do a $25 Thanksgiving. How? $7. Swap it out. Don't get turkey. Get a roaster. $7 only. The stovetop you could get on sale usually between some people $1.50 to $2. There's $8.50 right there. You got your stuffing and you got your chicken. The cranberry sauce runs between $1.50. Sometimes you get at the last minute $1. I didn't even
sure.
hit $10 yet. I already got 3. Get the canned yams, or you buy the fresh ones, the fresh
Yeah.
element.
Mhm.
Check your budget. You could do this. Do the pudding, bake a cake. You could get box cake mix for sometimes between $1.50 and $2,
Right.
and some frosting. There you go, Steve. I mean,
Yep.
really.
Yep. And one thing about Publix, I know all of you guys don't have it. Sometimes they run cake mixes, buy one get one free.
Nice, nice.
So what would I do? I'd save one cake for Thanksgiving and the other for Christmas. Ha.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's nice. I like that idea.
And
And
you got all the different flavors. You got lemon, orange. My favorite has always been the yellow cake recipe where you add the butter to it. The butter recipe, that was always my favorite.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was. I do like the carrot cake. Here's what's funny about the carrot cake, and then we'll conclude. I
Sure.
like carrot cake when you bake it and you take it out of the oven and let it cool and eat it as it is. I don't have to have the cream cheese icing on it.
Don't need the icing if it's a good quality cake. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
So just thought I'd mention
Very
it.
good. Very
Yeah.
good.
So
Hey,
anyway,
people got great ideas, and I love to hear everybody's ideas. So that's
yeah,
amazing.
me too. So guys, keep those thoughts in mind. Don't panic over the holidays. You've got some ideas. But both Jan and I appreciate you guys tuning in with us this week. And we'll see you guys back here next time. But if you could, it would be really great if you could do this right here. But we'll go ahead and say our goodbyes. And both Jan and I will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.